What's up, everybody? It is your boy, Cool Tyrone, coming at you one
What's up,
more
world?
time. But this time, we are not going to be talking about comic books. And we're going to talk about some of the things that happen in our everyday current situation. That little pup you saw, that was our rescue. Her name is Wendy. So I am going to talk today all about politics. So if you saw the thumbnail, you realize this is not going to be about comics, but you will definitely find this entertaining as well. Uh, Over the weekend, there was a Republican rally in the Bronx, and I am specifically responding to a YouTuber. I think his name is Lou Valentino, and I'm responding to some of the things that were said on Fox News. But more so, what I want to do is I want to talk about the importance of why we need to vote and why we need to vote to have the right person in office, right? So the Bronx rally was absolutely wonderful. It was American citizens and probably some American, nationals who are in the process of getting their immigration and becoming American citizens. It was these people coming out and exercising their right to a peaceful assembly. I am all for it. Absolutely, positively great job. They did it nonviolently. They did it peacefully. That's what we need to do. I am absolutely positively for all of these people voting for the candidate they want more than anything else, because that is what we have been given the right to do. We have the right, no matter who likes us or dislikes us or respects us, we have the right to do those certain things, right? And I'm absolutely positively happy that candidates have energized their people, their base, their followers to go out to speeches and rallies and listen to their message. You all have that right and you all have that power of choice. Unfortunately, unlike the Supreme Court, who took away and banned abortion, they didn't listen to the American people. And I'm hoping that we take a very important note from them, that we want to listen to what people are actually saying and take them at their word. So I want to talk about that words are important. AOC made a comment, a negative comment, you could say. She called the people going to the rally, the people who she felt who were going to be bussed in, she called the MAGA people and Trump supporters clowns. They lost their mind over this. They thought it was the worst thing to ever be said. So let's talk about words, and let's talk about how words matter. Jordan Klepper has done an absolute amazing job at showing the ridiculousness of the MAGA people and how they do things. Recently, Jimmy Kimmel also had a bit on how MAGA people flip flop when they think something was actually done for Biden, and then they come and realize, oh, well, that's actually something Trump did. They're actually flip flopping. They're not focusing on reality. They are so blind to reality that they're willing to sell out their morals. And that's actually what's happening, right? The Bronx, the Bronx rally, I have to say, was the only time I had actually seen an extreme multicultural group of people out supporting the past president in his bid for office again. Now, I knew that there are women who vote for Trump. I knew there are Black people who vote for Trump, and African Americans, and Native Americans, and Chinese, and I do understand Chinese Americans. And I also know that there are Muslims who vote for Trump. Kind of shocking. But again, they have that right. And please understand that I will fight for all of those people. I will fight for your right to have that option. I will fight for your right for you to have that. I will. But the problem is, they won't fight for my right to have the exact same thing. See, they only want their rights and no one else, right? They don't want that. So let's talk about it. If people from Poland, Europe, Ireland, Scotland, if they were coming here, would we have this exact same outcome about Mexican people and Haitian people? Donald Trump said Haitian people and many African nations were shitholes. He said they're criminals, they're rapists. Now, the last time I checked, people from Poland, and Europe, and Ireland, and Scotland, and all over, they've come here and committed crimes as well. Committed the exact same heinous crimes that he's claiming brown and black skinned people have committed. Where's the outrage? Where is that happening? Right? He specifically said, why don't we have more people from Norway? That was after saying somewhat 8-9 months previously that he would be the champion for Chinese Americans, for Haitian Americans, for all Americans. But we know what Donald Trump thinks about Chinese Americans, because as his followers committed acts of violence against Chinese solely based on his words, solely based on his inflammatory words and actions towards that community during COVID, his words are horrible because his words spark action. And off the time, the action is negative. Remember, we are talking about words. His words again turn into action, and they do not benefit Black and brown communities. What does Trump want? He actually wants the same thing that DeSantis wants: to keep power, increase his power and his wealth. He wants to be a dictator. Yes, for me, that stands out. He said, for the first day, for one day, I'll be a dictator. Now let's connect the dots here. He has Putin. He has the power. He has committed certain acts to show that his dictatorship wouldn't just be for one day. We cannot allow that as a nation. We can't even allow that as a nation for one day. He's the wrong candidate for you. He is the wrong candidate for you. And this is why he's the wrong candidate. If Fox News reporters and other of his MAGA supporters ignore all of the nasty, horrible, racist, sexist things that he said about whether it's military, whether it's those who are handicapped in some way, if you're able to be a Christian, as you say you are, and ignore all of those, or Muslim, or Jew, or Catholic, and you ignore all of those things that he's done, we aren't moving to a better individual. We're not going to move to a better country. We're simply going to move to someone who has lied to you and has gotten what he wanted, and then he's going to turn his back on you, which is exactly what he did, which is why most of his cabinet either got indicted or ended up leaving, and he was left holding the bag. Well, actually, him and his family and his lawyers were left holding the bag. They want to be dictators. Listen, when most people run for president, they have to give up the current seat that they're in. They have to, because that's just the law. What did DeSantis and other Florida representatives do? My home state of Florida, they actually created a bill that allowed him to remain in power as he runs. They allowed him to remain in power. If that's not the definition of dictator, maybe I'm crazy, but if the law says this and everyone has abided by that specific law, everyone has abided by that specific law until Trump came and his dictator mentality and changed it to where now sitting people in power are creating laws to keep themselves in power. It is time for DeSantis to leave because he wants to be what Trump is. He happily gets on his knees and puckers up and gets ready to serve Donald Trump. Well, the reality of it is, so are all of these people. Nikki Haley's people, he's not the candidate for you. Don't vote for him. Nikki Haley's people, supporters, he's not the candidate for you. Don't vote for him. Trump will not give up his power. And again, to Nikki Haley's followers, do not bow down like Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, DeSantis. Unfortunately, now your leader, Nikki Haley. Do not bow down to him. Do not give him his little baby way. Make him understand that we are a nation of people where there are consequences. And when you treat people and say things and you represent our country that way, you are not deserving of that position. Earlier this week, he went to Washington, D.C. for the Libertarian Convention. I have to applaud the libertarians. You booed him well. You did exactly what you should do. Libertarians, he's not your candidate. He is not your candidate. Do not believe his lies. He's telling you, I'm going to put someone in office. Well, let's take a second and step back. Look at all the people he's put in office, and most of them didn't even last the first year and a half. They were gone. So just because he tells you libertarians that he's going to put someone in office, please understand, he may. But we know they're not going to do anything worthwhile because he won't let them. He's not the candidate. Again, he said from day one, only one day, as the crowd cheered, he would be a dictator. When does America cheer for dictators? We didn't cheer at all for any of the dictators that we fought against in World War I and World War II. We didn't cheer at all for any of the people that we went and killed for. Your grandparents, my great uncles, my great grandfather, my grandfather's father, all of these people were in the military and they went and fought so we would not let the evil win, but we would increase the democracy around the planet. Now we don't want a democracy. Now we want, well, I should say, let me be specific, because I know my listeners out there are not all MAGA people or libertarians. So let's not fall prey to this high level of ignorance, to this high level of evilness. Let's not fall prey to this white nationalism. Let's not fall prey to, we can make it look on the surface one way so it looks nice, but in reality, it's a horrible, horrible mix of everything. We've seen it multiple times. Yes, there are Muslim people who support Donald Trump. There are Muslim people now who are pissed off at Joe Biden for his stance on what's happening right now. I'm one of them. I'm extremely pissed off at his stance, where we have this momentum of moving forward. And for some reason, Americans, we've been brainwashed to think that because we oppose Israel and the innocent bombing of people and their houses and children in schools and universities, that because we are against the war, that we're against all Israelis and now we're anti-Semitic. No, 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 we are not. We are for democracy. We are not going to, or we're going to do our best to make sure that past horrific actions do not repeat themselves and carry on. But we did it again. We're making laws so that college students can't protest. Did we not learn anything from, I believe it was what, Kent State? Did we not learn anything from the military being there and killing some Kent State protesters? We want the power of choice. And we do have the power of choice. We have the power to go into that voting booth and vote for the right person. Donald Trump is not the right person. At this point in time, a Republican is not the right person. There were some Republicans I would have voted for, hands down, absolutely. Donald Trump is not one. I literally would not vote for him to do anything. And I think his first term showed he is not capable nor fit. His words and actions are his promises. Don't be fooled. Clarence Thomas, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, they all mimic his words. And they put his actions, they put his words into action. The American people, over 65% said, we want there to be abortions. We want people to have the ability to make the choice for themselves. And instead of keeping that separate, we followed a bunch of religious people who said, this is wrong by God and this is wrong. Well, there's a whole thing of separation of church and state. They didn't listen. And he put them in there. And yeah, they definitely, absolutely, positively, they need to be checked. I believe one of our greatest threats in America to our way of life is those that are in control and say who gets equality and who gets to be ordered and commanded and obeyed to you better do the right thing or else. And voting for anyone, especially this Republican candidate, will take away your rights. And we know it, it's already been taken away. Let's connect the dots, people. Let's think very logically here. There's everything that's been placed in front of you. Let's not be blinded because, as recently someone said, AOC called people clowns. I'm almost certain that on the spectrum of name calling, clown and calling an entire country and their nation and their people and their president and their history and culture shitholes, it does not even come close to comparing. We are all entitled to our rights. We all have the ability to make our opinion and make it be known. But let's be very clear. In order for us to keep those rights, we must vote for someone who's going to keep our democracy strong. And it is not Donald Trump. How do we know this? Once again, 2021. Need I say more? Actually, I'll say one more thing. Hang Mike Pence. That's what was uttered and screamed and yelled and what the crowd wanted from Donald Trump's own supporters, the same people who elected and voted to have this person in office. Now they turn around and they want to hang the people. These were the same people during slavery and Reconstruction. These were the same Republicans, or excuse me, these were the same Democrats that wanted that way of life to maintain. All they did was flip flop. See, now they're Republicans and they want to make America great again, like back in those days. The Black codes, not enough rights for women or no rights for women, right? Women should be at home, not spending money in college getting college degrees. They should be at home. We all have been paying attention to the kicker who said that, the professional football kicker who said that. And we all realize that, oh, wait a minute, his mother is one of the top physicists. Yeah, see, that doesn't even add up. But the reality of it is, it doesn't have to add up because he has the right to say what he wants and she has the right to do what she wants. And you all have the right to go and vote for the person who will keep our democracy, who will allow people to say women should be in one place and allow on the exact same ticket, women should be in another place. Our number one terrorist group. And I've said this since I've been a child, because I've known it since I've been a child. And I want to be clear, I am not talking about every single white American in this country. But our number one terrorist group are homegrown white males and females who are white supremacists in the Klan, in the police, and who have been elected officials. Those are the biggest problems in our country because they don't see my brown skin. They don't see my brown skin as just another individual. They see my brown skin and other people's brown skin as that's a problem. African Americans have influenced American history for the last 400 plus years. That's what they were afraid of, exactly what we've done. And we're still going to keep fighting, and reparations will be coming our way, and we're going to still make it known that America is an equality for all country. We are a country where you can choose to be Christian, but we are not a Christian country. We are a country where you can choose to be Muslim, but we are not a Muslim country. Our forefathers knew that from the beginning, which is why all of them who were Christian, came here for freedom of religion, were smart enough and had the wherewithal to not signal out one specific religion and say, we're going to keep it separate. People have the right to do what they wish. That is the most important thing. The separation of church and state and the life liberty, and pursuit of happiness for every American citizen, no matter how you get here. Of course, we want you here legally, but we know war-torn countries, refugees, people coming here for asylum, all of those things, we want them to be Americans too and play their part and be a positive member of society. But we also know the Danish, the Irish, the Europeans, the Polish, the Finnish, wherever, they send criminals here too. Some of those people come here and commit crimes. We know that. We know all those people aren't nice, aren't good people, but for some reason, we only want to call those who are and not criminals, rapists. Is 45 a classy person? It doesn't matter anymore. He has degraded the office and allowed us to rocket to a new, more horrific era in our country. He didn't start it. Those gates were open before him. But what he did do was he encouraged it. He made it more publicly acceptable to do it. He have moved down this path of this whole woke culture, which it's not actually woke culture, it's historically accurate and correcting the wrongs of the past. It's not just something he did. It's been going on with the Republican Party for decades. We've had the battle with stop and frisk. That only targeted brown people. That only targeted African-American citizens. That targeted, I shouldn't say only, that targeted citizens who looked a certain way. The war on crime. Go back, please take some time and go to Netflix and look at the documentary, The 13th. Please take some time, educate yourself, and you will see the war on crime, very similar to redlining, was specifically designed to control one group of people. And it would be people that look like me. That would be people that look like you. That's what it was for. They were only going and targeting those brown skin communities. So I enjoy my freedoms. And these are the freedoms, once again, I say that my family members fought for, my brother, my nephew, my cousins. It wasn't for me. It was not something I wanted to do. I wanted to run my mouth to solve problems, right? The people who gave, even in my family, they gave it all for their country. Or they gave it all and they came home and they were happy. And then they got home and they were murdered in their military uniform because they were not Americans, because they were not considered Americans. They were not even considered full people. These are the people who follow Donald Trump. These are the people who want to re-elect him. There are not good people on both sides. There are good people, and there are some evil, nasty, horrible racists. Muhammad Ali had a really good quote. He said, or he was on a show one night, and I can't remember what show it was, and he said, let's say there's a bunch of rattlesnakes all trying to come and get me. And I think most of you have heard this before. If there's 1, 2, or 3 rattlesnakes in there trying to protect me, but there's 50, 60, 70 all trying to bite me and eat me and kill me and, poison me with their venom, well, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to trust these small group over here if the masses all want one thing? So we have to separate ourselves. Libertarians, he is not your candidate. Trump will not do it for you. Nikki Haley followers, he will not do it for you. Re-electing Trump for another term would only mean despair and more problems. I don't want to take too much of your time, so I really appreciate you guys joining me for this. I really appreciate you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. And this is your boy Kuta. I just had to get some things off my chest. Please make sure you go out and vote. Please make sure you're registered to vote. Take other people to register. Teach them why it's important they should vote. Here's a very easy thing. The extremely wealthy, They have enough money to buy whatever island they want and move to that island and live perfectly free. They can afford it all, but they never miss a chance to vote, because voting means they get to have their voices heard. I hope you understand that to have your voice heard, please vote. And remember, the majority wins. So we need to have more people voting against him, so that way we can keep our democracy moving forward. We do not want a dictator. We want a country that we can be proud of, one that we can take a knee and protest when things are going wrong, one that'll listen to us, one that will respect our opinion. That's what we want. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you coming out once again. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And this is your boy, Kutai. This is awesome.
All this controversy that comes to light makes me wanna scream at night.
I wanna scream, but the hate got me choking
Wonder what
on me.
we're fighting for as we go to war. Men and women will die abroad when the reasons
No reason
were
we're killing, but feel me, we still sad,
Governments
man.
falling to pieces, people's tolerance ceases. Protests breaking out, never casting doubt that we're in trouble.
We in trouble, my soul
If we
evaporating.
can't live again, where do we begin? We're in
We in trouble.
We're in
We in trouble. This country verse and hurt me, bleeding from like a million places. I can't explain it, but for what you jackasses are racist. You're steady shooting and cheating and warring. We can't see past the money, we got our babies on the street whoring. And for what some bull crap we ourselves created. I pray the dynamite explode for the crimes we perpetrated. It took your being to suck it, now it's evaporated. Drug company pimping cures for stuff that man created. How many times I'ma tell you, let loose that drug dealer? I keep fighting, not shooting, they palm at you community killers. But feel us, we alright if you're trying to make that change. Even though lightning vitals energize our own lives. Let this come to no surprise with wide open eyes. Every single parent we got who births a drop out. Mamas cry, baby die in the same fire. And to you white collar criminals, your doom and day is made. I hope the next building falls on the bed you made. Where profiteers lounging, puffing on a fast stogie. I hope you choke on some bad smoking, fall in a coma lonely. How can we be so naive to think that we can't change? They want us dead, they want us free,